we're going to cover LinkedIn profiles. I feel like once you get it right once, and tell me if I'm wrong, you don't. I'm hesitating as I say this. We don't need to update it all that often. It's not like there's new content strategies and new this and video messages and all this kind of stuff. Am I fair in saying that once we get the gist of our LinkedIn profile right, we've done a lot of the hard work up front?
No, you really are right. It's one of those things, not like content you're sharing every day, messages you're sending every day with your profile, but little tweaks every so often, because there will be things that are relevant to update it with. Once you've done the bulk of it, that will be able to sit there and stay for the long term. And, it will have a big impact. So, yeah, I'm excited to dig into that today.
Okay, cool. So let's start with the end in mind here. This is a stupidly open-ended question, and there's a point to it though, because I don't want to put words in your mouth. What is the point of a LinkedIn profile, considering that 5 years ago it would be you'd use it to get recruiters on board to get new jobs. It was essentially a CV online. What is the point of a LinkedIn profile today as we record in 2021?
I mean, the point is whatever you need to get from it. So if you need to get a job, then that's your goal. Then your goal is to use it to impress recruiters and hiring managers, etc. And this is the social selling show, if your goal is to sell, if your goal is to generate customers, inbound leads, sales, then obviously the end is your customer. It's them, your prospects and customers, that are the people you want to make it relevant for. And that is what most people don't do, and we'll cover the sort of how and the why, but a lot of them are focused on them as the individual, as the salesperson, and their profiles are not written in a way that's supposed to be attractive to the prospecting customer.
And how does that look practically? Because my profile, we could do this actually. I don't know if you can pull up my profile on your screen. Maybe we'll go through that later on in the show, because mine's not great. I had Vivica von Rosen on the Sales Podcast. This was a couple of years ago now, and she just hammered me at the state of my LinkedIn profile. So I did some updates then, but I've certainly not done any updates since then. So perhaps we can use that as a case study later on. But yeah, what does it mean to have a buyer-facing profile? Is it very literally we're creating content for buyers and we're sharing it on there, and we're not ranting and raving about how effective we are at selling? Is that how the picture is painted here?
Yeah, I mean, and this is where it can be difficult for salespeople, because you almost have to adopt the mindset of a marketing executive. Sure. When designing a profile, you're trying to write it in a way like a company will build a website. You want your prospect and customer to read through it and be interested in talking to you. So you were right. One of the most common mistakes salespeople make, and it's understandable, because if you're trying to get a sales job, you want to boast about your success as a salesperson. You want to boast about your numbers, how great and successful you are. But obviously, if that's a prospect or customer reading it, it's going to have the completely opposite effect. That's like going around and just jumping onto prospects and saying, I'm a great salesperson, do you want to talk to me? Because they're going to run a mile. And that's what's happening on LinkedIn. So you want to word it not about how great you are at selling, but how great you are at helping, how you can help people, what you can help them with, what you can help them achieve, how you've helped other similar people to them. And obviously, most importantly, how can they get in touch with you if they're interested? You want to make it all about them and focusing very much on the solution, the problems that you solve, and what is in it for them, not what is in it for you. They don't care that you hit President's Club. They don't care how much over quota that you achieved. They care about what you can do for them.
Yeah, as you say that, I don't think I've got anything on my LinkedIn profile that allows people to contact me other than via LinkedIn. Maybe my email and the office number should be on there. So we'll come on to that in a second. But is there anything we need to cover, for example, keywords or anything that is top of mind, Daniel, before we get into the what's actually on the profile itself, and we just quickly run through them all?
Yeah, no, we can obviously break down all of the key components. Keyword optimization is crucial. So people are using LinkedIn as a search engine. They are searching for keywords when they buy, when they're interested, when they're curious or learning. Now, if those keywords aren't in your profile, then your profile's not going to show up, and your competitors may be showing up instead of you. I did some training for a company a couple of years ago, and one of the biggest keywords in their industry, it was an apprenticeship provider in the UK, and at the time, Trailblazers was the key word. That was the key sort of method of delivery, yet none of them had that in their profile. So that's probably the most common word their prospects and customers would have been searching, because a lot of them were looking for help in that area, none of their profiles would have shown up in that search because it wasn't in there. So having those keywords relevant to your prospects and your industry within your profile, within your summary or your headline, can have a huge impact on whether your profiles, your team's profiles, appear in searches.
So how in depth do we need to go in this? And we won't kind of dwell on the keyword point too much, because I'm sure it'll crop up as we go through the rest of the profile that we're going to look at. Because I'm quite sophisticated with SEO and keyword research with regards to Google, YouTube, and places like that. Do we need that level of marketer knowledge on keywords, or is it just the obvious? If we're in sales training, we should probably mention sales trainer throughout the profile. How in depth do we need to go with this?
This is where sales and marketing can and should work closely together. Because, I mean, you're right, Will, you don't need to go massively in depth with it. I think a lot of salespeople, with some good common sense would know. And if you write your profile the way we're kind of going to describe in this episode, which is focused on your customer, you're going to fill it with most of the keywords anyway. Once you start focusing it on them, solutions, the problems, etc., you're going to start, filling it with those keywords. But work with your marketing department, because they should have that in-depth knowledge of industry relevant keywords from an SEO perspective, and that might be able to help. So there are a lot of ways in which sales and marketing can come together to really get the most out of it.